Welcome back and Merry Christmas. Today is Christmas for me. I don't know when you'll see this, but hope you all had a good one. I got the carburetors here. I believe I have the chokes all adjusted, as well as the throttles. So, see the snow I tracked in here. It's cold here, so I will probably need to take a heat gun and run it over these to soften them up so I can throw these carbs on. We'll see if we can get a fuel line on here. Unfortunately, today is not the day to start it because I won't do it inside the shed. I want to get at least outside, and I don't want to wheel the bikes outside, in the snow. So at least I'll get these on today, and then we'll go from there. One set of carbs in. I gotta tighten the clamps. Maybe I should have put the cables on first. Do I need the cables? We'll see. Okay, carburetors are on. All the clamps are tight. I have the throttle cables on. There's a push and a pull, but those cables are in bad shape. I actually have to move it by hand to get it to go back. I gotta open it, say and let it go, and then I have to push it back by hand. So yeah, those cables, I'm gonna replace them anyway, just due to the age. I put a fuel line on here, so I can put some fuel in there. Do I try those plugs or do I put new plugs in? Let's put new plugs in just to be sure that there's no issue with that, or I say that, but yeah, I've replaced parts on that I thought were good and they weren't. So yeah, we'll put some plugs in this. And then I think once I get a chance to get this outside, I think I'm going to see if it'll start. Here's a cold one today. Yeah. Got my little heater on. So I ran into an issue with this yesterday. Maybe the reason this bike is parked. What happened was I checked the oil, and the oil was low. So I put oil in it, and it started dripping again. Which apparently means when I thought I had tightened the drain plug, it was actually out of oil. And it's not the drain plug, the pan is split. Pan's got a crack. And I guess this is common from over tightening the drain plug. Maybe that's why this engine is here. This engine is 7273. You can tell because it says CB350, and then there's a dash E for engine, then there's a dash 1, where this one has a dash 2, meaning it's 74. And same with the frame, is a dash 2. So this is definitely the engine that came with it. And now I have to take that oil pan off the bottom. And hopefully this one's good. I'll have to take a look at this one. But guess I'll start doing that now. 11 bolts, I got the pan off. There's a crack right here that runs all the way down to here, and a crack here that runs to about here. So hopefully that pan is good. There wasn't any junk in here. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. I don't think this gasket is original, obviously. It's like somebody made this one. So this probably has been off before. I'm gonna try to get a good look up inside and see if, on these models, the chain that connects the engine to the transmission, the primary chain, is in the middle. So you can't get to it from either side. In order to replace it, the crank has to come out. I'm going to go see exactly how loose it is. Hopefully it's good. But, you know. You know. So hopefully this one's not cracked. And I'll be taking that one off next. Okay, good news. I don't see any cracks around here. So it should just be a matter of taking the 11 bolts off, cleaning the gasket up, and sticking it back on the other one. Alright, so the cover's off this one. And I went under the other one to clean the gasket surfaces. I took the pickup off. A couple little speckles of stuff in there. I'm guessing probably something to do with the cam chain guides, but we'll find out. Now, I've scraped most of the gasket. I still got to do a little more cleanup. But it doesn't look too bad in here. This is the chain I was talking about. Seems to be all right. I mean, it looks pretty clean in here. No big chunks of bearing, which is a good sign. Yeah, so I'll finish cleaning up that gasket surface and we'll put that new pan on. All right, my gasket's set. It's all these O-rings and everything. Look how small the valve seals are. If you can see them, they're tiny. Yeah, but in there is the gasket that I need. So I guess this came in handier than I thought it would. All right, I got my oil pan gasket. I got a new drain plug, magnetic. And I just got to clean out the old oil pan that I'm going to put on and clean that gasket surface, and I should be good to go. All right. Seeing as it's freezing outside, I really couldn't, spray this with engine cleaner, degreaser, and then blast it with water. So I cleaned it with gasoline. It took me probably an hour to clean this gasket surface. It was, oh my God, that stuff was stuck on. I probably did everything I shouldn't do, including using a razor and stuff, but there was no other way to get it. So what I think I'm going to do is take some of this 3-bond liquid gasket. I think this is the stuff I used in the W1 on the engine cases, and glue the gasket to this side of the pan. So that way next time I take it off, if I ever have to take it off, it won't be stuck to the engine case where I'll be laying on my back trying to clean it. It'll be stuck on here, and at least I can do it on a bench. All right, I'll do that, and I'm going to put the bolts in and install it. So I got the oil pan back up there. And before I fill it with oil, I think I'm going to change the oil filter. Might as well, right? Put new oil in it and have a dirty oil filter, so we'll do that. Okay, the one I took off was missing this washer, but the one from that engine I took off has this washer. So this washer goes on this side of the spring right before you put the filter in. And I got a new tube with the larger size bolt on it, because I know some of these with the small 12, they round out and then, yeah, you're in trouble. I got both of these out though. This gasket doesn't look so bad. This one looks flat as can be. That's the one that was in there. Why is that engine actually looking a little bit better? Well, maybe not. That actually had a little bit of water in it. I don't know if it was just condensation or what, but you could tell it had a little bit of the milky stuff in it when I cleaned out that oil pan. All right, I'll get this assembly together and get it in the bike. All right, that's all cleaned out. The new oil filter came with 2 O-rings. I'm guessing maybe one called for thinner and one called for fatter. This one takes the fatter one. We're going to put our pipe in, our spring, our washer, our filter, and then we're going to install it in the bike. Okay, there's also this collar that goes on. And one side of these fins is dipped down, and that goes to this plug on the bottom. Okay, filter's on. We're gonna finally put some oil in this thing. I think we're gonna use, calls for 1040 on the stick. I think we're gonna use the old 1540 for now. We'll probably end up changing it again soon, but let's get some in there. All right, this is probably the first time I've seen oil on the stick and not on the ground. Now, crank this over, see if the oil light goes out. Maybe I'll kick it a few times first. All right, I cranked and cranked and cranked, and the oil light stayed on, so maybe it can't crank it fast enough to create enough oil pressure. Or maybe it's got a that bearing or something. And the only way to find that out is to start it. And as you know, I can't bring it outside, but you know what? I'm going to throw all caution to the wind. Got my fire extinguisher. Let's put some fuel in it. Let's give it a shot. I know it's got 4 bowls to fill, but man, that's a lot of fuel. Okay, we have fuel leaking out of one carb, which is always the way, isn't it? The 2 right carbs. Okay, now we got fuel in the tube, but we don't have fuel leaking out. But yeah, this thing's gonna be rich as hell. a couple of the cylinders. And I really don't want any fires breaking out. How's everything else looking? We'll let that sit, air out a minute or two. I suppose I don't need the choke on then, do I? Oh, something else is dripping. Okay, fires. Running a little rich, but I did have the choke on. Doesn't sound bad. Doesn't sound too loud either. kill it. Put the key back on. See how long it takes for the oil light to come back on as it slowly loses pressure. There you go. I mean, that's not bad. It means it didn't lose it all at once out of bearing or something. I don't see any leaks. No weird noises. All right. Well, now we know that it runs. Maybe now I can redo a compression test and see what that cylinder reads. But I gotta let this place air out first. It's a little smoky in here. All right, cylinder number 1. Oh, we're up definitely near 125 now. It's getting closer. I mean, 140 would be ideal. I'm hoping that the rings will come around as it warms up. Just reseat themselves. All right. About 110. I think that was 80 last time. So that one improved. Number 3. About 85 or so. So that's improved. That's still the lowest one. But it has gone up some. And to be honest with you, I don't know if this gauge is that accurate either. Because it's been low on every bike I've checked. So it could just be that the gauge is a little off too. And the last one. And that was about 120. Okay. Every pipe is warm from its little run. So we know it fired on all of them. And I think we're just going to have to run it and tune it and that. And then after that, after we get this thing so we kind of make sure that it runs okay, then, I don't know. Do we tear it all apart? And do the timing chain and guides and all that? We'll see. But hey, I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Today's, for me, December 26th. And hopefully everybody has a new year. I don't know when my next video will be out, but it's getting there. I may have another video out depending on what happens tomorrow. Something may happen tomorrow, and if it does, I'll let you guys in on it. Okay. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.